people at once, YouTube. So if there's any problems with comments, picture laggy quality, well, it ain't us. So welcome everybody that's here thus far and everybody that's ready to join. Obviously the two people that I know are here. I'm not going to remind you to comment since you already did. And probably I'll save that for the many times that I'll save it throughout the course of this video. So if you feel annoyed by that, well, then leave right now. So we'll save introductions here for a second and kind of build up a stream of folks to follow along. This is the point in which I wish I had some background tunes. I'm at the music shop, Adam. Maybe you got some background tunes you could throw in the background. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of jibber jabber very, very quickly. So I'll just say hello to the folks that are already here. Fraser's still annoyed, so there we go. What are you annoyed by? The shout outs, right? Hey, Fraser, what's the latest and the greatest? And by the way, we got 11 people here already, so that's the point now, without background tunes, that you need to start commenting while we with the crowd thicken a little bit. And then we'll get into introducing ourselves, what we're here for, and today's show. You know, we got to think about the playback, man. We don't want this shit to be boring as fuck, and I'm not going to edit this part out. So 1 minute and 32 seconds and in, we got to have gold.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be gold.
Yeah, okay.
We got the gold team here. There's no way it's going to be silver or bronze.
No,
don't worry about that.
Well, and I don't want to dive too much into that, Adam, of how much you're formulating the gold team here. you're winning us that medal.
For sure.
Wicked Devil, it's Reaper with excitement, but then question mark. So yes, it is I. What's Wicked Devil? We know that Fraser's in Texas. Where are you at? And Heavy Metal Gamer Show. Hello, good to see you. I guess we'll leave with the atypical of the 16 people that are here. If you don't want to say hello in your name, well, I guess your name's going to come up when you do say hello. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're jamming. Tell us what you're drinking. Tell us, say something. Otherwise, I got to blab and figure out background tunes. And if you hear the live background tunes happening outside, you might click off this video.
Paul's not dead. What gave away no fitness and health talk? What gave that away? Neither of us look like Justin, I know, so.
Oh, hey. So it looks like YouTube is not going to like the potty mouth. Yep. So Fraser, don't be a puss. They're on to you. You can't be talking about cats in a way like that. Heavy Metal Gamer is Washington State, jamming Midnight, Nunslaughter, Wasp, and Deicide while drinking coffee that is black as his soul. There you go. Hey, I like that better. I remember seeing like a coffee, like one of those like Etsy type like coffee mug things. And there was like in the Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath font and color. And it said, I like my coffee like I like my Sabbath. But I think it should be changed to I like my coffee like I like my soul. At least that'll be my Etsy mug. Reaper Metal merch. What do you think? Is the gold team doing this?
Definitely. Hey, if you can have Heavy Metal Relics merch and Hellcast merch, you can have any kind of merch. I like those. So I think that's a good idea.
Cool. Well, we're going to give it 5 minutes and then up to 5 minutes. So we got about 1 minute and 15 seconds for the rest of the 9 people to say hello, where they're from and what they're spinning or drinking, or I don't know. You can rag on me. You can do whatever. No, show us that you're alive. We're just trying to kind of get the crowd built up before we do live and have a nice, we came here to make a point, so we're not going to entirely say it within. I'd be done already if I came here to make the point. Adam's here, welcome, blah, 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 and then see ya. Super chats. Yes. Well, shit, we got to wait for that too. Super chats, though. We want super chats. Make the effort worth the damn. See Reaper more often. Super chats. Working Tony is in Indiana. Where are you at in Indiana? You in Lurking Corpses territory? Fraser, I'm curious if you've seen a video I did with your brother here in Houston. I heard about it. I saw a thumbnail. I did not see it. I got to catch up on some videos. I've been, as Adam knows, more engulfed in science and physics videos, tickling my fancy of late. And then I bore everybody around me, which is kind of nice because then I get to be the asshole that's like listening to something that nobody else wants to listen to. which is always how it felt like for me. Lil Necron, or L Necron. We're going with Lil though. I guess we'd have an Lil. San Antonio. Is that how they hype up the San Antonio in the local sense? Good to see it. What are you jamming? Um, Cool. Well, it's past our 5 minute mark. We're up to 15 live people, so that means the onus is on you guys. For if you didn't say hello yet, you're going to have to. That's the prerequisite outside of doing a super chat. So cool. Well, now that we're here, I'm Reaper. If that wasn't obvious, it's been a while. So every time it's been a while, I make that joke. So if that joke is old and it reminds you of a horrible song, good. That's the joke. Because then to my right, to my left, to whatever is going on your screen when it's flipped around is Adam. Or should I be calling you something else? That's how we're leaving.
No, I think I'm good with Adam. I don't really necessarily need a nickname, so I'm good with Adam of Unbaptized Records. We'll just go with that.
But in a way, the internet might need to know that nickname because they might not know you as Adam, right?
Well, they're going to know me as Layla Lover 90 because that's my YouTube handle, or at least it was until I migrated over to this channel, which is what we're here to talk about. So, other than knowing me by Layla Lover 90, you're going to now know me by my real name, Adam, but they're both equally important.
When you were building the famous name of Layla Lover at 90, what were you doing other than YouTube channels?
That was it. I was just loving Layla, and so I'm like, hey, you know what? That's going to be my YouTube name, and that was about 11 years ago.
And throughout those 11 years, like, because then it's like you kind of got caught into the circle in a lot of ways. In many ways too. Like you weren't just commenting as Lee Guion 981 in the UK, or Tony in Evansville, or Fraser who keeps making remarks. And are
Yes.
you, and doing because then you were doing stickers and shit. You were commenting a lot on Hellcast videos, sending in packages, but more notably, especially to Layla's credit, she made your because that's your wife.
Yeah.
She had contributed one of the earlier wall arts. I think actually one
Yes.
of the original wall arts anyway
Yes.
for Hellcast. That's kind of old school in it. See, that's like new school Hellcast in my mind, but then it's old school Hellcast at this point because then it was like the moving curtains, which was always funny because I remember people like commenting like they got a slick looking background. Like they're moving blankets stapled to the wall.
Yeah.
That we covered when it was at Hell's Headbangers, like in my little like cubicle that we covered with a bunch of like posters and stuff. And so that was when Layla did an original art piece, which I have in the archives sitting there after we broke down that wall. And some of the lucky diehard fans, you had to have been diehard to buy the pieces that were on the wall, the posters and stuff.
Yeah. See, I didn't because I think I wasn't a fan of you over social media, and I think that's how you were getting those away. Because I know you and the producer were talking about once you broke down that wall, who's going to get what, and I think that sale or the however you had done that given away was maybe through social media, which I didn't have at the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, various individuals such as yourself and the producer, well, for sure the producer, have been, believing individuals to be gracious enough to dedicate their time and kick me in the ass and kind of get me out of my way and figure things out. Which thank you for that, Roberto. Cool to see you back, Reaper, and very much so. Like cool to be back. But so I guess I'll comment on that note because it kind of triggers into why Adam's here. Because and hey, hello, Greg. Thank you for saying hello, and to the 16 other people that are maybe new or not that are generating that higher number is what it looks like on my end. Keep continuing to say hello, where you're from, what you're spinning, what you're drinking, what you're thinking. Because yeah, so Adam's here, I'm Reaper, blah blah blah. All right, back to it. So we haven't been here for a second though, or I haven't, and for a while it was just it kind of ran out of steam. Like we came, we saw, we did a show, and that was it. And that was kind of Hellcast. Like nothing bad, nothing good. It was just like I don't know. I feel like we kind of did, and if nothing else, yeah, you could label it as running out of steam. And then by like I mentioned, the gracious actions of the producer being involved, had somebody on the sidelines that's like, like one of the things that I'm like slightly burnout I'm doing is just kind of this show up, and it's my fault as today, but it was always my fault, and hence how you can get in your way. But like, it's always just like shit. Like, like even today, Adam like texted me before and like, did you figure out the YouTube how you do the guest thing? It's just like, I just got off of a lake. I was setting up sound for this old band and these folks that are doing like a cook off. And I gotta get to the music store. No, but I will, and I'll do it like between 2 seconds of like having to go live, and sure enough, here we are. So after a while, that just kind of gets to be a little bit old, and it doesn't nurture the ability to put in the time, the research, the preparation to do like the podcast how I really wanted it. I loved like what was on the fly for it. Like, we had 3 different camera angles, a nice soundboard to like run into it. So it was like at least just sit down, start press and record, because the production was already done. But in a way, it was still just sitting down and like cutting back so you can see the zit on this side of my face, or then you had a camera where you don't see it, and it's like, oh, well, we're gonna go over here for that today. So like just shit like that, where it's like, what, other than disguising a zit, like what do we need 3 cameras for? Because I have an idea what we need 3 cameras for. That means we're like producing something. We're actually like, it's Reaper Metal Production, so we're producing something. Like, so I like video. I want to like do more in the video realm. That was what Reaper Metal Radio was for the very short time that it lived, for what, 2 episodes. And the producer got involved in that, and we were then, because like I had somebody then. It's like, all right, well, if we're gonna get Chris Barnes, we weren't gonna mimic him. That was an option, but we went down to Florida and we got Chris, and convinced him. We nearly had to drag him by his hair and gauged earrings up to Ohio to go to Vanarchy in Cleveland and do that bit, if you've seen that. So we were gracious enough to have Chris do some, some folks found him comedic, myself included, otherwise informative, and things outside of Christmas albums and not so good covers of Van Halen. So we had that, and finally it's like we're able to kind of push this production aspect. I think somebody got potty mouth to get Frazier. Your flag, man. More potty mouth. Puss. You can't say puss, even if you're talking about Puss in Boots, apparently. Anyway, YouTube doesn't like it, and so yeah, we had it going, like the production, and then just became a lot, like, because then we were doing the Into the Darkness. The producer was on that, and we were just getting good guests, but like getting a good fuck doing interviews like was a part of Hellcast, and that was a way to like bring it back when we had that idea of Into the Darkness, because it's like, hey, if I'm ever going to as they say, stick your foot in shit and then you come out smelling like it, like, well, if I'm gonna dare do that, because that's kind of how I feel about interviews, I'm not doing it alone, like, because there's so much time you can waste, like you looking to get a hold of somebody, then you do get a hold of them, and then like they're coming Saturday 12:30, and then so and then when that happened, had my heart was just sank, because finally my dream interview was to have Nick A. Anderson, and we had him booked. We were going to talk about the new Lucifer album, but then sprinkle it and kind of like, like, I like Lucifer, but not enough to let his wife shine. And so it's like, we're going to kind of like bring in the little bit of the Nick A, go that route. And so they canceled because of the dumb shit that was going on in the world. Apparently, I think they were just busy, but we're just going to blame it. I'm going to give Nick A credit and just blame the dumb shit that was going on in the world, because this was a little bit after 2020. And so that just really sucked. And it was just another like suck that was just like, oh man. And then so much suck happened in a financial sense, of like running a label to like be the backbone when people aren't super chatting, to help drive the content to, you know, like you said, you had a better phrase for it, Adam, and I'm about to butcher it because I don't remember it, but it was basically, you're doing your passion, and a lot of these things, if you want to turn the passion of things that you love, you kind of need a little bit of some cash to kind of make it happen. So, that was always the unit to have, like, the releases and the label to kind of back end doing content, because a lot of times, Hellcasts and Reaping Bell Radio and all these things were just free. Like fuck it, it's all about the art of doing. Um, and then yeah, the dumb shit in the world happened, and then like prices are going up of everything, tariffs and taxation when it's international, to then rates. It's $30 to ship a record. All of a sudden, like, oh fuck, dude, fuck this. Like, this is too much pressure. Um, in a lot of ways, there's many moving parts, but nonetheless, it kind of brings us where we are because yeah, it was enough between Chris Barnes is gracious enough, the producer, other really talented people are helping out with the graphics. Like there was some cool graphic stuff that was happening with Metal Radio. Some guy had a hilarious idea about doing like Metal versus Poser little stints and just stuff to make it a show. And that was what I really wanted it. Like I really liked that idea to like do a show thing. But again, you need more moving parts. You need somebody like look, if I'm gonna be on the camera, I can't fucking run the camera. It's like it's just too much. But I want it to look good and blah blah blah. So anyway, alongside that, then it's just like it'd be cool that if like there's this Reaper Metal Radio, all right, YouTube offers these things, so like all right, I'll go live every once in a while, and here's that every once in a while. What, a year later, another
It
live
seems
video
every
from
year.
me.
Once every year.
What's that?
So it seems like about once every year. So you're due. You're like a groundhog. You got to pop up out and prove to the world that Tom G. Warrior hasn't locked you in his closet.
Yeah, he wasn't pissed about the things we did. Hey, dude, Tom was that. That was no act. That was Tom.
Or maybe more so it's the guy from Annihilator who was pissed, but people don't know about that because they can't see that episode. So
Right. And I'll get to that in a second because that kind of goes with the gold medal team. Robert and see, look, this is why Adam's on the gold team, man, because you called it. So Roberto, you were officially the person that broke the ice of what Adam called. Yes, Crucified Mortals is inactively still active. And thank you for the comments about the Devastation demo set, because there was a lot of hard work that went into that. And Heavy Metal Gamer show, I'm very happy to see that you noticed that was Jeff Waters. However, the Annihilator remark, if Frazier wasn't about to think that it was the Annihilator from Texas that misspelled the word Annihilator. And it's good to see that we got somebody local in Cleveland, although I guess I'm in Cuyahoga Falls, so not very local, but slightly local. Anyway, going on with my story, why Adam's here and blah, 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 and what we're looking for. The other idea was like that, you got all these people that event, I mentioned the producer, we obviously had J-Dog, we had Eddie Satan, Bridget, a lot. And then like all just the guests, well, because then you're doing interviews, right? Or we did with Into the Darkness. So a lot of faces. That's like, this would be cool to like turn it into like truly a fucking metal channel. Like, as our ongoing analogy is lovers of The Simpsons that throughout the 90s before Bart Simpson got a cell phone and it wasn't the same show. And like you're on that, like, you would tune into TV. It really wasn't just The Simpsons, that like you would tune in the TV and like you knew what time it was going to be on. So, and then it was like, if it's Wednesday and The Simpsons are on, well, it's a repeat. And then it's on a different channel. Over here it was channel 45, I think. And then, a new episode would be what, once a month, and then if it was in season, so once a month when the season was active, for all the young kids out there that don't even know TV like this. So that it's like, like in a lot of ways, like if we're running this like a YouTube or like a TV station or channel, there's kind of a lot of repeat in a way. You're not always like forced to do new, which kind of caters at least to the expectations of modern day. Like, it's gotta be new, crank out more new, and then it's gotta be a daily fucking video. And it's like, this is a lot of work for 0 super chats thus far, 19 minutes in.
daily videos, I have no idea who you might be talking about.
So, super chats, that thing on YouTube where it says how much money I want to throw at this awesome live stream that I've been here for 19 minutes worth. So that kind of shit, that it's like, if you could formulate a channel in the YouTube sense, but in the old school sense, would not only be fun. So, fan mail needs to happen. So let's get a PO box, specifically a PO box. let's put old shit. If we don't have reruns because they're already posted, so that kind of X-nades it. Well, then concert videos. There's the rerun of reality. Uh, to then getting more people, like different shows. So 8/7, and then even doing stupid shit like that 8/7 Central, because that's at least for being in the Eastern time slot. That the all new Simpsons on Fox 8/7 Central after Malcolm in the Middle, or before. I think it was before it, because then it'd be like, oh god, this dumb show. So that and never really panned out, because then you're always kind of catching up and getting people to help run and formulate just the one show, and show up in time, which nobody was late. I was always late, to then do like the last minute shit, like get the screen share live stream going at the music store after baking in the sun. So a lot of that pressure, and then thus now all of a sudden you're going to build more shows out of this, and that's where Adam comes into play then, because then it kind of fell on the lap where then the yearly live stream is, well, the year has passed since that, and it's like, yeah, it's like, I guess in time with like, I guess I got to do a live stream, an annual live stream's coming up, and now we got this prosper on our shoulders, where there's somebody that's near and dear and close and gets what this whole spiel, to kind of like, all right, yeah, like if you're down and you want to make videos, like from your sense, like anybody could do that, but here's the things I have to offer on why you should do it that way, than just to start your own channel, simply to say, because Adam had to sit through it, so that's all that matters. But of the fast pass it could offer in what he wants to do, and to how to like build and reach an audience that is going to be largely the kind of the same, like people that are going to watch Reaper Metal stuff anyway. And so here we are. Are we going to title your show anything specific?
Again, I don't really know. I think it's just going to be whatever titles I give each individual episode. So I think basically it's just going to be, regular YouTuber content that people who are into metal are hopefully going to enjoy. And the idea is that, every single Wednesday I'm going to deliver a video, 7 a.m., and it's going to differ between collection videos, which is what my first one was, so showing off my cow decapitation vinyl collection. I'm going to do rants or replies to other YouTubers, not necessarily negative, but it could just be someone makes a comment in one of their videos, and then I extrapolate on that. But instead of putting a 2-paragraph comment on their YouTube video that one person's going to reply to, hey, why don't I just make an entire video out of that? I also have interviews set up. I actually did one last night, so I'm not going to tease who it is, but a few of the regular devils who I don't see in the chat, but I know might be watching afterwards. So that's another thing too. Shout out to anyone who's watching it afterwards. I talked to a few people over Instagram, people from other countries. So if they don't make it, they're definitely going to watch this later on. But I have an interview that I already did, dropping Wednesday. So it's just going to be pretty regular content, shorter form, so probably 5 to 15 minutes. But as for a title, I don't really have anything. It's just going to be me discussing the type of music I like and talking to bands I like. And, I think the fans are just going to have to see. They're just going to have to watch it and see what it is. So.
Yeah, and I guess throughout that too, like other than the annual live stream, for the folks that want to see, maybe they won't, like, and maybe that'll get get me out of the hot seat, with you being regularly on the channel, where like it'll just kind of switch people's focus to forget about me, and then just be in the background doing my annual live stream every once in a while. But as you're like formulating that, like what it entirely is, the expectations of like what I could come and do might be different, or I'll figure out more so, like, yeah, because especially if you're doing that, like, I don't want to disappoint anybody that was hoping to hear that, like, and this means that there's gonna be a resurgence of Hellcast. Like, again, we came, we saw, we did, and so like that's kind of where I'm speaking from. Like, I don't know what more to offer than to keep moving at what I'm trying to do, and that is to stop replying like in these annual videos that, like, when you get the Robertos asking, what's up with Crucified Mortals, or anything I'm doing musically on the sideline, which landed me here in the first place, I feel like a broken record. Um, and it sucks, because then, yeah, like you just the time to do it, to then run a channel, run a label, blah blah blah. isn't there. And then in some cases, it's when things are like kind of turning into a job in a way. Not that I didn't enjoy doing it, I certainly did. But when pressure is kind of striking and you got to do it at a certain time, and just keep things running, which still 25 minutes into a live stream and zero super chats, there's a lot of pressure that like now you got to like sell a record to accommodate for the super chat that everybody could have been at least a buck, man. If we had 15 people throw it, we could have made $15 right now. We could have bought lunch. Instead, I got to go home and cook lunch, on the budget. So that's going to take away from the time of writing that Crucified Mortals record that's taken fucking 6+ years. No, eight. So yeah, like I'd like to kind of keep that moving, and then by that point, when like there are the the lunchtime appeasers with Adam doing his thing. I think my battery might have done a little internet jargon there, so if it did something weird on your end, anyway, back to my spiel. If it wasn't broken anyway, that there might be enough to appease what the channel needs to have like regular content, and so I'm gracious that you're doing it that way. But then yeah, hopefully by the time it's like I'm checking in and doing anything, it could be more like, well, fuck, like a listening party or something. Dave, there you are. Fuck yeah, everybody, take Dave's lead. I've watched your show on and off from time to time. I know this is an old argument. Iron Maiden needs to stop having their shitty kids band open for them. See, now that look, the inspiration ensues when there's a beautiful super chat, but then not only when there's just I'm assuming a not so popular remark like that, which I would think it would be the most popular remark. I can't comment on who what their whose son or daughter band opened for Maiden recently, other than when I saw them. Man, I don't remember.
But I think it was back in 2017 or so, because this is definitely, at least from what I could tell, is the Hellcast nerd, a reference to a Hellcast episode where you were talking about one of the members' sons opening up, and you're like, hey, man, why couldn't someone like Lady Beast have been opening up for that band instead? And you're like, well, they were there. They were in the crowd, but they were never.
They were there.
Yeah, they were there.
Dude, because it was so, and and I think that's what Dave means as well. Like, look, if you love it and you don't think it's shitty, then who the fuck am I? But like, it's inappropriate. It's just like, this doesn't even, like, nobody here. Well, maybe somebody there, hence my previous remark, but like, this doesn't fit. Like, it's so off kilter, and like how dare you, Adrian Smith or Dave Murray or whoever's son or daughter? Because I think it was Steve Harris's son's band, and it was just like shitty chugga crap. And because that's the thing too, is like maybe there's some awesome chugga out there, and I'm just not into it to ever find it. But it was like just the same, because there's cliche and there's shitty, boring modern metal as well. Like, so chugga is totally going to be the same. So it was like everything typical of it, like uninspired riffs. What, we were really inspired? Like, it's just horrible, and it just didn't seem to fit. And especially something like that, because then like you're paying top dollar, you're standing at a fucking, like, literally it was at the Pittsburgh, I don't know, sports team. I don't follow sports team. Sports arena. Far larger than like, the place that the bathroom's reachable, and like there's 50 people and that's a crowd where you're like, excuse me. Like, no, man, like if you have your spot in line, like you're fucked if you got to go get a beer or go to the bathroom, or God forbid, because you've been there all day, get hungry and you're about to pass out, or maybe need water because you had too many beers. You probably didn't have too many beers, because that's another problem, because they're like, $9 to $10 a piece. So it's just shit like, and then the merch, like, so it's just in an environment like that it's just like, look, we know you love your sons and daughters, guys, but don't bring them on the road. These bands suck.
Like, even from that episode was that, well, the music doesn't fit, but then you're also taking away from someone who had to work hard to get that talent that wasn't just handed down to them because the relatives of Iron Maiden bands, that they're now not getting that shout out. And then that kind of trickles down to, let's say, if Lady Beast was on the show, then they're gonna maybe shout out Reaper Metal that
Yeah.
they were on your label, and so then that gives you some cred, and then you're going to get a couple extra dollars in your bank account, which is going to benefit you from having spent all that money and energy putting into Hellcast. So they're taking away from one person or a whole group of people who maybe could have been part of the concert that weren't, and then you're just handing it down to someone through nepotism who may or may not actually be deserving of that spot. So I think that was kind of part of the
It,
conversation then.
You're right, and you're right, and well, Dave, what do you agree? You're the one that brought it up. Like, what is your gripe for one? On that, other than just having to stand through horrid music, because back to the standing through horrid music. Like, if I'm right to any, like, again, we might be the naysayers and blah blah blah, because Maiden's kind of like a legacy band where young kids are gonna like it, and maybe they're more prone to being into that modern style. But like, I think the average schmo at the Maiden show was just there um for Maiden. So like, in a world of really expensive shit, ticket prices in this case, well then get rid of them. It probably would have been $10 cheaper then. Like, who would be unhappy with a 3-hour Maiden show? I mean, I think it was 3 hours. So then who would be unhappy with a 3-hour Maiden show in this regard? Minus the 5 hours it was. You know what I mean? So 2 extra hours of your life back, because you don't have to wait for setup, shout out, big screen shining of shitty band of Steve Harris's Son's caliber. Thank yous of like, oh my god, my dad, invited me on. Like, none of this. That you get it all back. You show up. Bruce Dickinson comes out, hey, and then they play the Trooper, and then the show starts. They put in some of the geezer shit that you're just kind of like, all right, it's time to get a beer, and then they come back around and then they seal the deal, and then you're like, yes, no shitty band, one band. Like, less is
Yeah,
more.
and we
Steve
cut
Harris,
down.
if you're listening, man, less is more.
I think that El Necron's point, saying that maybe needs to stop releasing more albums. Hey, you could have. I think Iron Maiden and The Simpsons both have something in common. They probably should have stopped a long time ago when they were still good, and then they can have hour and a half concerts where they just play maybe their first 10 albums.
Adam, that's your new sticker. I like my Maiden like I like my Simpsons. Done a while ago. Uther X, haha, fucking Reaper is so real. Thank you. YouTube does not like your fucking remark, but I let it go through. I don't know if that means anything in the YouTube algorithms. Hey, congratulations, Frazier, for Lady Boost Rules actually met the sing. I think you mean singer. Lady Beast got to play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last night in Cleveland. I just found out yesterday when I didn't have time to go, which is kind of cool, I guess. I'd like to think that it's as cool as it sounds. Although, if you've ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, probably not. Um, sorry, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame attenders and lovers, for the opportunity Lady Beast had last night. But yeah, but exactly, like, because it's especially too, and like in hindsight, to the remark, because like they're from Pittsburgh, and Maiden was playing at Pittsburgh this time. Um, but like, so that's kind of where the Lady Biz remark comes. But like, they're so like much in. It's just a better fit. Like, if you like Maiden, you're gonna love like the Dio and the heavy new wave of heavy metal. I was about to say the new wave of heavy metal relics, the new wave of British heavy metal, and like, Iron Maiden-esque that they bring like to accompany as your opening band, especially if you're in fucking Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Like, and what a foreign idea to have like local band be opener band instead of your foreign band that's just some dude that came out of your ball sack, and that's how he got on the bill.
Oh,
Goro Stern,
Oral
Yo
Stern.
Reaper. What's that?
Oh, just what you're saying. Just want to shout them out. So yeah, I definitely recognize the name.
Goro Stern said a super chat. One of the awesome people. So again, we're up to that $15 that could buy us lunch almost. We're 2 cents short, so at least nothing else. 2 cents after this. Yo Reaper, excited about the revamp, man. And Adam, thanks for sending me some stickers a few months back. Hails. Well, Goro, would you like one of those new stickers to be the new, because half of them are like dubbed from Hellcast remarks anyway. So do you like the new live stream dubbed remark of I like my Maiden like my like my Simpsons, done a while ago? Um, or maybe you can put like a question, like, because then like honk if you think 4 albums and done. because that was always a concept that I never got to. Because again, too, like you're trying to produce a show, like even if it is sit your ass in a chair and like, all right, today we're going to talk about, like you want to be ready. So if it's like, hey, we're going to talk about bands that have more than 4 albums that shouldn't, like, all right, who, you know what I mean? Like it takes a second. Um, which on that remark, who are 4 bands that have more than 4 albums that should only have 4 albums? Because by the 4th album, it was like, otherwise, I'm gonna encourage other people to super chat by reading chats. Unless you got something, Adam. Who do you got? 4 bands off the top
That
of your head?
should probably quit after 4 albums.
Yep.
Oh yes, Metallica definitely. Yes, they probably should have quit after, as Pat from Hellwitch put it, "Ride the light bulb," which I love. That's my new favorite.
Who was it?
Pat from Hellwitch, the singer, he
Yeah. Okay.
called their second album "Ride the Light Bulb," which I thought was hilarious because I agree that it kind of burns for a little while and then fades out pretty quickly, in my opinion.
It fades to black.
Yes. I think when Cliff Burton sadly passed away, that could have been the end of Metallica as well. Actually, all the big four. We'll just say all the big four. Honestly, it's as controversial as that might be. I'm probably the worst person to ask, but Slayer, the first three would have been it. I don't like Anthrax, so I can't really help you there. But maybe the first three. Metallica, definitely the first four, and then Megadeth. Man, Dave Mustaine's voice once he started doing that "Hello Me" or whatever that was. Nope, didn't need that. First two, three, four, big four, only four. There you go. And Morbid Angel, yeah, Girl Stern, I agree, definitely.
Oh, the yes, Morbid Angel for sure. But I would just overly argue though that we need to reestablish. I get it. Why there's what a big four is, but we need like then the secondary big four. You know, the bronze four. Um,
Yeah,
because like then, granted, what would be the bronze four? Overkill's got to be in there.
yeah, Overkill, Exodus, Dark Angel, and can't think of the fourth one, but um, Testament. Well, you don't like Testament. I know Tommy likes Testament. You don't, so maybe not.
It doesn't matter what I like, but that would still be a bronze four.
Yeah, and actually, New Testament, not the book, but the band is actually pretty good. It was, I think, the 2012 album, Brotherhood of the Snake. That was actually a pretty decent album. So I know you're not going to be jamming it, but maybe some of the Testament fans out there might. So
It might be something I need to go back to though too, because I work more and more with the producer Tommy from Redefining Darkness, a lot. Like literally, like in a warehouse. So like have the tunes because again I'm putting on science shit and boring everybody. So it's like, can we turn this shit around? I'm like listening to like stock channels and stuff. Like, dude, can I turn on some music now? Like, at least he's gracious. It's like I'm bored on my fucking mind. um, so he puts on, and maybe I'm bored on my mind. So then when he puts on something like, because he put on some Testament the other day, and I was like, I might gotta go. I might have to go back. See, I had like Souls of Black and stuff, and then like Legacy, right? Or Legacy was when they were the demo band.
I think so.
So I got like Steve Souza more than Chuck Billy in my mind as a Testament vocalist in a way.
Hmm.
And then when it is Chuck, it's either death metal Chuck, which kind of fits his voice, to then Souls of Black, which I can come to find out like I'm kind of not alone in like that's not like that's what their 5th album. So maybe even the Bronze team, the big
Yeah.
four.
Plus, then obviously you have the Teutonic Four. You have the Canadian bands that no one seems to ever talk about. Canadian top four.
That one's hard. Like, what's your Canadian top four though? Because then, well, go for
Well,
it, and then I'll prove my point if you struggle where I think you're going to struggle.
I mean, probably Annihilator, Razor, um, uh, Exciter, and Sacrifice. Right? They're Canadian.
Yeah.
Maybe those four.
See, do you think they're all like, don't you think there's an because you know, like when you do the American Big Four, then like there's the Anthrax where you're like, trash, really? Like, I guess that era, but like not the 8 ball, not the trash can, not the like. There's so many not those that it's like I don't know. I think we could have thrown Testament or Exodus in there that would have at least appeased the Big Four thrash. So like Canada kind of gets to that like sacrifice, and then you're just like, yeah, but is sacrifice in the same sentence as Exciter or at least Annihilator? Like, like put four or not, but put four torment and fire right next to Never Neverland.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's the problem with making genres for whole bands' discographies. My philosophy is really you got to go album by album. I mean, again, look at Metallica. I love their first couple releases. They're thrash metal, and then they changed to heavy metal, which is fine. But then, as some people have pointed out, with Load and Reload, they changed to sort of grungy, almost country-ish music. So it's not taking away anything from their original thrash albums to say that they suck now after these albums. So I think most times bands just don't hold to their genres, and that's fine. It is what it is. So you kind of can't have the big four. I kind of say it's a misnomer. It's an unnecessary categorization. Just say what bands you like and say even better what albums you like. Because a lot of times a band is going to change their sound, sometimes slightly, sometimes in an extreme manner. You're almost better off just saying, I like this album. Big four is maybe the big four albums I like or something. So
There was that guy that once said, "I don't like bands, I like albums."
yeah.
I know him very well. There's another sticker. Um, See, El Necron, he agrees that sacrifice smokes. I mean, I don't, and then that's all relative too. I'm just saying that as far as like smokes or not, like you keep your opinion just on the side. That like if you were to truly weigh, there's always that like three that like okay, yeah, they fit together, but then that fourth one, you're like they're kind of the Anthrax of the crowd. Um,
Oh, we had
what
big.
did we do on Heavy Metal? Voivod was ours.
Oh, see, I don't know Voivod very well, so I can't really help you there.
But then that's your in an opposite way, because usually the Anthrax is like the shittier one. So arguably in my mind though, Voivod, it's a tough sell. Like Dave, you fucking rule. So well, let me
Man,
read Dave. What about new wave of thrash metal big four? Well, see, there you go. You're thinking outside the box, non-Maiden style. Bring them on the road, by the way. Well, now that we brought that back to the Maiden example too. Like, imagine like if tours became well, in a way this did happen. If like well, what if the Big Four toured and did a show? Well, they did. So like, but what if we figured out the new wave of thrash metal Big Four? Which fuck, what year is that?
yeah. So it depends
What I
on.
mean? Like, when does the new wave start?
So if we were to define it as maybe 2003, it depends.
Toxic.
Toxic Holocaust. Do they count as thrash at this point? Are they blackened thrash? Are they punk thrash? What about very new
Don't
bands? Celeste, Spider. Does that count? I mean, they toured together. I'd say they're kind of thrash, although Spider's kind of punk. You have Wraith, but Wraith is basically, no offense to the people who put them out. I like them, but they're basically sound exactly like Toxic Holocaust,
they're
which
tighter Toxic Holocaust.
I love Municipal Waste. I'm wearing the shirt, but people would say they're way more punk crossover. So are they thrash? Or are they just the pizza thrash that people don't care about?
But
Warbringers?
I would throw them in there for sure. So
Warbringers?
far, the definitive ones would be regardless of those lines you can draw, because those big fours again they do it because like Slayer is your toxic, then like they're the darker one. Municipal is your municipal, I guess Anthrax in a way because it's more party.
They're the fun band.
Was that
Havoc, that was another good one. Oh, they're the fun band because Anthrax was always known as like the partiers,
yeah
but not
yeah. But
partiers.
does that count because they're a have been? Like how many albums do they have? Like do they have to still be around? Um, well,
Which band?
Gorgas 55 agrees with the Havoc.
Well, he said it.
Wicked Devil said Lich King.
Give him the credit. He's the one that said it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just
Dark Angel needs to be in silver. Yes, yes. That Dark Angel would be the silver medal Big Four, by the way. Adam, we got your next series of videos going, man. The bronze 4 thrash metal bands, the silver 4 thrash metal bands, and then you got to go through the countries. So then the Big 4 German thrash metal bands, the bronze 4 thrash metal bands, like what, Death Row, Assassin, Holy Moses, maybe. It might be as far as quality, yes. Again, there's always that fourth one that's hard. You get
Yeah.
my
Yeah, but I mean, but even to that point, okay, talk about Sodom. So in the Sign of Evil, that's proto black, and I will
yeah.
give some credit to that.
Teutonic though. See,
Yes,
the
but
problem with the Germans though, because when you get the Anthrax in their crowd tankard, they're still Teutonic though.
yeah,
We need
that's what
something like that, and that
it's.
might be where West Coast and East Coast kicks in. Fuck, because especially the Texans in the audience are gonna love them because "Don't Mess with Texas." I guess it's just such a theme that vibrates through the attitude. That there's almost like a big, you know what I mean, like a Big Four, a Bronze Four, a Silver Four of the Texas scene. Because then you're getting like hell, even the South just in general. Because then you're bringing up Incubus, not the part of me bullshit, which is hilarious by the way. Because there was that old Hellcast video. I just saw this recently, so I had to bring it up now that I thought about it. There's an old Hellcast video that it was like something about like "Don't Count on My T-shirt," and I told the story, which is many a story, that I had an Incubus Serpent Temptation shirt on, and somebody was like at Chipotle of all places, so I knew it was legit in my suspicions. He's like, "Dude, I love your shirt." I'm like, "You don't though, because it's not what you're thinking. And if you were thinking what I'm thinking that you might be thinking, you could be thinking that it's the Australian Incubus, and you're definitely not thinking that. And you're certainly, and then you could have probably been more likely been thinking it's the Mike Browning Incubus from Florida, but you're definitely not thinking that. So you're thinking what I'm thinking you're thinking, and that's the shitty Incubus. And sure enough, and it's just like, how don't you know that? Even if you like, look, if you love it, you got a tattoo on your face of shitty Incubus. The logo is just then part of me underneath. What a job killer that would be. At least for ever having a show on Reaper Metal. That like how don't you know it? Look, I'll give it to you. You love them. You fucking love them. Like, but you don't fucking love them because you don't even know what their logo looks like. So anyway, somebody commented on that video. Then apparently they watched the video and they still had questions like, "Wait, so the Pardon Me Incubus like jammed with Mike Browning?"
That's really fun.
Like, no, like this is so off. Like, how don't you know that? If you love it, like, how don't you know that? Like, what's that guy's name? Chad, the singer? Like, I know that. I don't even know if I do actually, but seems like I do. I think it's the Nickelback guy. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna stop talking.
that's who you're referring to. See, but all you had to do was say Chad and '90s metal or not. Wow, whoa, oh boy, not.
Ah, oh,
Sorry,
off. No super chat for you.
I think I just got metal canceled.
Dude, oh my god, like get a pencil and paper out. Here's all your ideas that we're gonna be like a week later. Like, dude, we had great ideas from that live chat. What were they? You were just ratting them off, Reaper. So Big Four, Bronze Four, Silver Four. Remember that SEO crap we were talking about? Done. Because people are already talking about the Big Fours. Because then you go back to every freaking country or like region you can think of. East Coast, Midwest, Texas, so South. Although Texas is its own breed. Oh my God! If you gave Latin America some love, the Reaper Metal channel would light up. You can never make if you just bring up something from like, because then it'd be like, oh my God, you brought up Sepultura. It's like, doesn't everybody know who that is? You must know who Sarcophago is. Like, yeah, like it's just the love Latin America. There's a reason why Latin American fans are so nuts. A
Yeah,
lot of pride and love, and that's great.
yeah, you got Perverser, Slop Bath, bands like that. Great stuff.
That's getting obscure. Which I guess a lot of their shit's obscure. But yeah, like Big Four, Bronze Four, Silver Four. So, and then, and I just lost it. That's why the pencil and paper that I don't think you got was going to be handy. Because then we had, yeah, I lost it. Shame on you. Or me. whoever needs to be writing this down. Well, hey, somebody super chat wise needs to make it worth it to go out there and endure whatever they're covering right now. I think I heard a chord progression that alluded to Alanis Morissette. That I could walk out there and grab a phone charger because otherwise my phone's about to die. And we're 50 minutes in, and we got $17 in super chat. So we got a pretty decent Chipotle lunch going. Me and Adam could get a burrito bowl. We want to drink. We're kind of fucked. So and then we can figure out that segment that's lost, and then Adam can grab that pencil and paper and write down these ideas, and then I'll go grab a super or a lightning bolt charger for my iPhone. Because if you're wondering, that's what I'm looking for. So the decisions will be yours, almighty super chatters. I'm gonna make the decision for you and go get that charger because regardless of the outcome of that decision, my phone will probably die before you make it. Here we go. Name that song. Hello.
I know that was
Yes. To this earlier, so if you haven't been here for time, Crucified Moses is not dead and gone. Unlike the past, Crucified Moses
Really?
is
I'm grabbing a charger.
not around. And there are other projects that we preserved, and then maybe he'll mention at some point.
Yeah, yeah, I bet he is. So that sounds like wasting time. I don't remember who wrote that hit I never wanted to hear again in my life.
Talking about the song, what we're doing.
What's that?
So you talk about the song and what we're doing.
Oh, I just was explaining the background tunes if anybody was able to hear what just happened. Now that I'm back in the drum studio, here because I'm at the music store I work at and teach at, which I'll bring that up. Hey, so yeah, trying to think about content online. I guess it won't be content online, but maybe it could be content online. Well, let me pitch that. We're bitching about, or not bitching. Well, we were bitching about super chats. So there's a reminder for that now that I got my charger. But we were talking about content. So all those things that hopefully Adam got the pencil and paper, or at least Goro or Dave or Frazier did. So we can, revert back to this for all these brilliant ideas that are ensuing, or maybe you could watch the 52 minutes that this is to get those ideas as they're mentioned. But anyway, I made the remark earlier, if you're one of the 17 people that have or have not been here the whole time, that I started to lose like, what the hell am I gonna do? Kind of things. I like the idea of like your production kind of things, but ultimately too, like that revolves around the subject. And even though I just came up with some brilliant ideas and nobody wrote them down, like you still got to always like write them down and come up with them and think about them, and that is maybe the steam I lost. So like, there's like other things I want to do than like talk about like clever, fun radio-esque comments that or subjects like the Bronze Four or something like that, of Latin American death metal or something like that. So it was mentioned that like, what do you like? What if you like bring in more? Well, I don't know if it was mentioned, but I'm wondering that it's like, if like the guitar player in me like just became more prevalent, that like, just talk about shit that I guess goes into writing metal or whatnot. I mean, it's not even right. I don't know. There you go. I don't know. Like, how do you bring guitar playing into this? Like, and not potentially have like, better put, it seems like guitar play, like, yes, we're all like music fans here, but then if you're a guitar player, now it's like a different niche because like, correct me if I'm wrong, Frazier, Suicidal Grind, Cam Medical, Pathologist, Vin, Dinkins, like, if I started bringing up like theory and why, like, because what's the J Dog line? Like, guy hates everything. Like, if I started to like explain like why I don't like certain things, some of it's gonna be like, well, I don't like the production. Like, I think the snare drum sounds like a trash can, or I don't, like there's not enough 63 hertz on it. Like I've lost everybody, I think. Like now you're getting in fucking physics and crap or the things that would just be, a music production channel at that point. Um, but then again, it's called Reaper Metal Productions, so I don't know. So
Yeah, well, I think that's to your point. That's where people would go when they want to hear what Reaper has to say about music theory, and if they want to see what someone has to say about the top four, was it Japanese, big four Japanese thrash
if
bands.
you're writing it down, you know.
I could try my best. Score Guts 55. Unfortunately, I don't actually know any, so I'll probably have to tag Reaper for that. But that could be a good video I could try. So I think to your point about having different people doing different shows on your channel, they'll go to you because they want the tech guy, and there are definitely people out there who enjoy that. Just because maybe some of the previous crowd doesn't, you don't know, you haven't asked, but maybe they do. So I would definitely try it, put it out there because people don't know. And you don't know until you put it out there. And if you have an honest opinion about it, I think that's one of the things we talked about before was you put out your honest opinion and people will definitely like flock to it. They're gonna like what you have to say because you're just being yourself.
That's a potential running name for your your show, the Metal Therapist. Dave was kicking ass today, man. Chipotle burritos. We're beyond you. We're going to steak dinners. Um, so hot take. I think Anthrax gets way too much crap. Maybe it's just me. I really like New York punk style. If the Ramones were a thrash band, they would sound like Anthrax. I mean, there is definitely something when you do the when you bring the New York into it, because especially what in the Big Four sense, in a world without overkill in that Big Four, like who do we got? That they aren't. They're California. So like, yeah, the regional aspect is different because then for some reason the Big Four, which I was about to just say, who are the Big Four again? Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and so three of them are fucking California. So you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so very much to what you just said, Dave, like, yeah, like then you lump it into a Big Four status that again, if that's a show that's like playing around, that's the opening Maiden band that you don't want to see in a way. But maybe you would want to see them if the Ramones were opening up for them. If uh they're giving local bands their time of day, and I couldn't think of anybody but the Lurking Corpses because they got a new album that I need to listen to. And Von Gould just texted me the other day, asked me if I jammed it. But it's like, what I mean? They brought more like punkish metal and stuff together. Like that would work a little bit more, so the labels suck, they just suck. You got to take on that, Adam? You don't really
Uh,
like it.
so that's the other thing too. My music tenure, I guess, started more so with the '90s. So anything before that, I can't even really speak to it, sadly. So like we're talking about the thrash bands and definitely the classic heavy metal bands, I just don't know about them. And my ears, I was telling my friend last night at the concert. So me and you have a juxtaposition because you say you have a really technical ear for music. I was telling my friend that when the first two Toxic Holocaust albums came to my ears for the first time, I didn't even realize Joel had a drum machine. So that says something. So I think that also lends an interesting take to this channel because my point of view for music is going to be a lot different than yours. But I think people are going to enjoy both of them because they're just coming from different honest perspectives and it's organic. And I think that's one of the terms I come back to where, yeah, I just didn't even notice that the first two albums had drum machine on it. I can't really tell when an album has triggered drums. Like I couldn't tell you if it was a Sunlight Studio album or a Morris Sound album. I just hear music and I like it, and maybe that's kind of lame, but that's my take. But maybe that's good. What's going to make it more interesting are totally different voices with different backgrounds and everything.
Well, so Cam, if you sent a super chat, you'd really be worthy of me rereading this but it's so wrong I had to reread it for free. J Dog said that you liked the 8 Ball album by Anthrax. No, I don't. So that's 100% fabricated if he really said that. But there is another ball of an album. I like the Trash Ball album. So maybe that's what he meant. But you could just call it by the title because I think the 8 Ball album was like not called the 8 Ball album. It was called like Volume 8 or something. It wasn't good. Because I like Stomp 442.
So to answer Fraser's question, I'm assuming you're talking about Hellripper from Scotland. Well, first of all, I love him, and of course Reaper likes him because it was on his label for a while. Yeah, even has the interview with James back in the day. So if that's the
I
one you're talking,
invested thousands of dollars into them, so they're pretty good.
yeah, I definitely like him a lot, and I hope Reaper does. In fact, I have a quick story about Hellripper. Reaper doesn't mind. So I visited Ohio
Please.
back February to go to Justin's show out in No Class, and when I was there, I hung out with Reaper.
It was his
And
wife's
I
birthday
mean,
party.
yes,
Sorry,
yes,
just had to. It was in her honor though, and there was her 40th birthday party, so gotta give a
yes.
shout out to that.
Where I got to see that crappy band, the Lurking Corpses. No, I'm just kidding. um, so when I hung out with Reaper at the place he's at right now, he had told me a story about a guy who came in with a Hellripper shirt, and I would have been ecstatic if I was that kid because I would have walked into a store where the guy working there actually worked with the guy from Hellripper. And I thought, how cool of that, just such a small world situation of someone wearing a band shirt goes into a music store. Turns out the guy working at that store happens to have worked with the band that you're wearing on your shirt. So I feel like that's a cool situation that if I ran into, I'd be very happy. And I have sort of other stories similar to that, but that's something right there. Like, just to be able to say you have a legacy of not just Hellcast but working with your label. You have all these bands you've worked with, so if someone comes in to your music shop wearing a Lady Beast shirt or maybe a Hell Knife shirt or whatever, you could be like, hey, you know that band you're wearing? I worked with them, I know them. And maybe they could be like, yeah, whatever, I'm Gen Z or whatever, I don't really care. But hopefully, if they're wearing the shirt, that's not the case. They actually do care. So that's kind of a cool thing.
I did get slightly the vibe that he owned the shirt and not the albums. I gotta highlight Dinkins' remark to replying to the eight. I assume it's the 8 Ball album, maybe Stomp 442, but he's said it's called Bad Anthrax album. So yes, but if you like what you like, who gives a fuck? But yeah, that's weird too. That it's sometimes easier to buy the shirt than it is the album anymore. We were just kind of I was just reminiscing about that. So I work at part time on work under the producer's wing because he's like the manager of the American warehouse for this Polish company called Eight Merch. They're like a manufacturing company of CDs, vinyl, cassettes. Like if you need them done, come and I can help you out. But nonetheless, they manufacture in Poland, and then they were starting to because like they already have a lot of bands. You know, they already have your stock in hand because they manufactured it. So in Europe, then they started to do fulfillment service. So beyond that, to definitely ride or drive up clients and the ability of reach, like you're eventually probably going to want to be stateside with that, and vice versa if you're an American company. So now stateside, now they are. They started out in New Jersey, and in February, and the producer Tommy from Redefining Darkness, the co-host of or host, however you want to look at it, of Into the Darkness. Yeah, seen him before. He is that guy. He's like the manager of, and he doesn't live in New Jersey. So when that became a bigger and bigger unit, it's like, well, we got to move that to Cleveland area. And so around February, me and Mike Hamilton, the drummer of Exhumed and Deeds of Flesh and much fame in the extreme death metal world, we were the guys that went out there and moved a really big fucking mess of metal and different genres of music from New Jersey to Ohio, and here we are. And that's kind of where my part-time gig is, because then I'll, when they need help like shipping records and stuff. So anyway, I gotta be honest, I fucking forgot why I went on that rant, other than to give an update. There was a point because it had something to do with Tommy, and I was like giving more creds of like what he does and why. Oh man. Oh,
Maybe relating it to the music shop in some way.
yes, because then well, we were just bullshitting about that the other day. Like, well, for one, Hellripper's a client and they're in Europe. And um now like there was like I just saw a Hellripper shirt sitting there and I'm like, oh cool, I can get my Hellripper shirt now without spending $40, because that's what it
Yeah,
would cost.
you can get shirts more easily than the albums. I think maybe that was your point. That the kid came in wearing a Hellripper shirt but didn't own any of their music.
There you go, metal therapist. And so yeah, like so nonetheless that because like it made me think of like all of the popular like we mentioned like so I love like most people Creator Pleasure to Kill, a lot of German bands, a lot of European bands, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and like before there was express like when international mail was literally ship and ship only. Yes, there was air, but like there wasn't. It was so expensive, it just was impossible. Like more expensive than the going rate of what it is now. Because they're not really using Surface. So Surface was literally a boat, a fucking boat, man. And sometimes your package, when it arrived 3 to 4 months later, it smelled like a freaking boat. Like, did they douse this in seaweed before it got to me? Because that's what it smells like. So, like, even if you could then find out a place that had, a creator patch or a shirt of Pleasure to Kill, in this case, that I wanted really, really bad, like, good luck. Because, like, in the Auf Kernang, I don't know, I'm making up words, but like, it wasn't just and then there was no Google Translate, and then I had like a German friend, so like, hey, does Aufkernanum mean patch in German? Because like I found the website, I think I can order from the website because it says contact with a K instead of a C, CT, it's KT at the end. Like that I could figure out, but like, you know, carts maybe was slightly like, all right, like it's a foreign word, but like that looks like it says cart and there's a little shopping cart. So yeah. But Aufkernanum, no. Uh I'm making up words for like, I don't even know what to make up for t-shirts and shit, but you'd have to know German to even navigate through the fucking website if and when you found the website. Then, if you found the website and you're willing to order it, because you got a German buddy that navigated you through it, well, good luck paying for one. Did they take American credit card? No. All right. How do I get, dude? This is going even further back. How do I get Deutschmarks? German buddy hooked that one up. German buddy hooked it up so much that I was like, look, Craig, I'll just buy it for you and ship it to you on a ship, and it'll be there in 6 months.
Right.
And in turn, I want this stuff from America. All right, let's do it. And you'll get your ship from America in 6 months. How's that as well? And it'll smell like a ship and ass. So that, and so like, to then just see a Hellripper shirt and it's just like holy shit, like it's just here. And like James could, from Hellripper could be like, yes, I want to expand my reach because I'm a European based band. Like, send my products to your American warehouse. I will pay the warehouse fee for what's unsold that sits on the shelves. You get your cut when it's shelved, blah blah blah. They're the inner workings. And it just seeing that kid coming up to the music store that didn't get it from Mate Merch, but could have. Actually, probably did. That's even more to your point, Adam. Like, not only did he get it from the guy that like dealt with the band that moved the shit from New Jersey to Cleveland, like I probably packed it.
Well, that's why the metal community is a full circle situation because I'm not going to spoil who it was again. Some people know, but the band I interviewed last night, I was asking the guy from the band, the singer and guitarist, hey, who are some of the bands you're going to be touring with? And he mentioned Sentient Horror and Oxygen Destroyer on the same bill. And I'm like, hey, it's funny you mentioned that because those two bands are, Redefining Darkness bands. And I've met the guy who's behind that. And the channel you're on right now is run by someone who works with the guy for Redefining Darkness. So full circle. And
Yeah.
I want to shout out a few comments. I know some of them was a little while ago, but Suicidal Grind, yes, Municipal Waste and Cannibal Corpse. That's going to be a great show. I assume you're from Europe because I think that's a European tour. So that's awesome. And Cam, yes, Deicide and Christian, they're coming around. I got my tickets already. So that's going to be a cool show. So,
Um, and so when like Cam brings something, Cam medical pathologist brings up, I love $30 shipping, hell's 450. In a way too, you like that's something like Reaper is God. Well, I'm trying.
demigod, you're working your way up.
Yeah, he's Swedish. Stink. So what was I going to say? So like anybody though able to provide those rates, like that's very much something you should maybe not so much appreciate because it's your patronage that makes that possible. Because the only reason why they would have that such a competitive rate and an ability to offer something so cheap to the rest of the market is for one, they're not using the straight United States Post Office that is the what did I call $30+ of shipping to Europe and beyond. They're using a different party, and those different parties, UPS, FedEx, DHL, they want because USPS they don't even want to touch it. They don't even give a shit. Like they got holidays and paid time off. Like they need more help. They don't need to find discounts for clients. The clients are coming to them paying $30 of shipping. So like the clients that are coming to them are like the helpers that want to be like, well, look, we'll sort it and do whatever's along the process, give it back to you to deliver it because you go everywhere. You imagine going the analogy that I was always showing, postal education hour right now. The analogy I was always given that it's like for an outside company to essentially offer cheaper rates anywhere, still has to utilize like the country's local postal service because that country's local postal service is going to every single address in that country regardless because they're dropping off your bills. If you live on a dirt road in Appalachia, Ohio, which do exist, well, like the mailman's going there regardless. Where's the nearest FedEx hub? Where's the nearest USPS hub? That's why it costs you an arm and a leg because it's in Columbus, 3 hours away. So like shit like that. So like then it's able to be partnered, and then like so nonetheless, you can't qualify for these things without having enough volume of mail. And luckily, through patrons like Cam and Dinkins, and well, I guess I'm just assuming that this people that I guess I'll, as an ex-Hell's Headbangers employee, thank you for driving up that volume because it wouldn't be possible without it. So a lot of this shit's all the more important though too. I mean, this is a weird side tangent that I didn't really mean to get into. It just kind of happened because of the postage remark. Because metal would be like, "Fuck this! It's getting it's getting political." Like having more sales, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the landscape's changed, but yeah, the kid with the Hell Ripper shirt, he didn't know that package was shirt.
Yeah.
That's the simple of it.
Well, I think to your point about not being able to get music here, I think that's where some of the smaller labels come into play. That's why they're so important. Putting their net out there, getting those bands out there that they care about. So even if someone like that Hell Ripper fan could only get the stuff that you put out because the stuff that's currently coming out is more expensive, and I know because I forked over the money because it was well worth it to get the Hell Ripper LPs, the newest ones that came out. It is tough. So you definitely need more smaller labels and people willing to trade to get that kind of music here. Um, yeah. So to that point, I mean, and then even just having people to talk about it because I probably sadly may not have known about that band, but you mentioned them on your channel because it was on your label, and so because of that, I became a fan. And actually, because James is awesome, the main man behind the band,
Yeah.
I actually reached out to him over Instagram and said, "Hey, I saw that you're doing a lot of the merch shipping. If you don't mind, I'm going to buy an LP CD of your newest album if you can sign it for me. Because unfortunately, there's a chance he's not going to play in the U.S. at any point. Maybe no time soon, but maybe never." And he did. He actually signed my LP, CD, cassette. So just using
Nice.
social media, even though he was from Europe, okay, that helped a little bit because yeah, the shipping was a lot, but I love the album; it's well worth it. Now he signed it for me, and again, probably would never meet him, so it's not like I could do that in person. But because I have social media, I knew who the band was, and he was a cool person and was willing to do it. I have a little bit of a memento that I may not have gotten So yeah, it cost more in ship, but the cost benefit was I got it signed, which is cool.
So I'm gonna then, since we're about 75 minutes in, I really appreciate seeing a lot of the regulars here, and I know it takes a moment for the message to get out that we're doing a live stream. But if you got any value out of this and you appreciate the hour and 20 minutes that we spent here, definitely, I would highly appreciate it if you, wanted to throw a few bucks at us. Me and Adam can both get a decent lunch to at least compensate for the fucking gargling that's going on in my stomach anyway. Um, Nonetheless, I'm going to go through a few comments because to that remark of the appreciation, it's hard to say and hey, do super chats and buy me lunch. Although, please do that. Um, Otherwise, go to Reaper Metal and like still buy stuff. That's you can. If you want to get something more than if you didn't think this was enough, but then Adam's not going to get in on that, so that's going to suck. So that super chat. But then, yeah, we're going back through this. 28 Nihilus said that how he thought that Hellcast was the greatest YouTube channel ever. And first off, you're slightly wrong because Hellcast wasn't a YouTube channel. It was brought to you by Reaper Metal Productions. So Reaper Metal Productions was once, maybe not, if not still, the greatest YouTube channel ever. But remarks like that have been things like, because I always kind of say too when I see things like that, when you make music and you come at this thing like as a musician, yeah, I got a fiddly band. I'm not too big for my britches. Like, I'm not trying to say like, there should be like this new wave of thrash band list, and then Crucified Mortal should be in it. The band that hasn't put out an album in 8 years. Um, uh, but like, when you enter this space, like trying to like, build a unit and like make yourself relevant if and when you're making music to then maybe even have a place to come and say, hey, we got new music, check it out. Be a live stream. Like, it's just a little bit more guaranteed that people are going to gravitate to like cool music than they are to like some sort of show, especially like even much what we were just saying, like big four like you got to have like good subjects, good like radio subjects. You're almost like a radio DJ in a way, but you're not, because then again the music's speaking for itself. Like if you're a good radio DJ, well then you got a good opinion, like, oh, you build a good playlist. It's still not the commentator on the side that's like saying this shit. And like, so I don't know, it just felt really fucking fun for one, to like ever podcast. And so to be 12 plus years later, Adam probably would know better than me because you're so right with this position, man. Like for you to have, well, I'll get to the dick sucking later. Uh, but at least we got a live camera and it's not literally. But that that's not the guaranteed one. That's going to be the one that like is going to be more like who the fuck's this guy, and like, oh, like, and who cares what your opinion is, like. So for any of that to like have stuck, and especially like the jokes, like, and then it's comedic, like you know what I mean, like there's things that caught on, like some crazy guy in Connecticut that's going to make bumper stickers of them. I don't know if he's crazy, but like, so like, just shit like that, to then, yeah, like the 12 plus years later, and somebody's saying it's the greatest YouTube channels and blah 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 blah. Is like, that is the impossible kind of coming, and so that is just something way worth noting and talking about. In my mind, it's just like it could have really gone the other way, and it's just cool that intuition and everything else just fell into play, and here we are, doing this and trying, because and there you go, back to Adam then, and what we're doing here today, and the message that we're trying to promise. We're almost 80 minutes into this motherfucker. So like, to kind of come back to our point of what we're trying to do here today, other than have a great chat, which we did, and the message we were trying to spread, and so the commitment that Adam's going to have, which you're going to take the reins here in a second, Adam, and tell and remind everybody. But like, who better for the job than like somebody that is that fan, somebody that like, caught on in that way, and like, gets it, and like wants to be a part about that. Like, it seems like several things inspired you through this. Like, now you're going to be doing Unbaptized Records, like, so you're going to be starting your own label. Like then now you're gonna be doing like content and then here you are today. Like look at the the people that are like, fuck yeah, my bro Adam. So like just that, like it really is like a cool little community. And especially too, like not to make things political, but fuck man, with like the recent shit too, and it's just like, oh my God. That like, with like just absolute stupidity abroad. Like there's always been stupidity abroad, whether it be like horrible taste in music, which it only gets worse by the decade, to like just dumb shit. And we'll just leave it at that. That like, yeah, to like have this kind of thing and like people can like, just talk about their favorite albums and like have that camaraderie, that escape, that whatever, that they're supporting each other. We might be getting lunch after this, kind of thing. Like that's fucking cool. Um, so I just kind of wanted to go down that route after seeing that remark. And Cam, hey Reaper, do you care about getting autographs on all your albums like J Dog does? Uh, if it can happen, I'm not going to go on my way. I kind of lost. I've met a lot. I don't know if I've met all my heroes, but I met like a lot of like people I looked up to. I'm not going to say they disappointed me. They didn't. It just they were just human beings. So yeah, like I'm not like that scathed, but like in a way they were just human beings. Like it's just weird. Like I don't know. I'm because it's still happening. Like I'm going through a weird like just things are changing in a weird way. And like just looking at things different, I guess. So again, too, like if you think that like, well, for one, keep commenting as we're about to, because Adam's going to take the reins here for a second. But like, if you like the idea that like Adam's going to be here doing regular content, he's going to tell you more about that in a second. But like where do I play into it? I'm in the more technical shit. Like I don't know what. Like I'm not gonna like guarantee you that I'm gonna like break down a Toxic Holocaust album. But, like they shouldn't have used a power chord here, and it should have been a dissonant chord because that would have made it sound more evil. But like maybe I don't know. Like because my mind's always like that, especially like writing. When it comes to music, and the whole reason why this channel ever existed, for one, it was to promote the music I was making. And well, I haven't really been making. So when I hopefully now get to making that music and then I can use this channel to like tell you about that music and then maybe show up every once in a while, with a guitar in hand and then we're like running through tunes. Speaking of James, like he did a lot of like jam through plays and people really seem to like that. So maybe we'll do that. Or maybe I'll do that. So stuff like that. Like I don't know. Let me know what you think. And Dave did it. Dave, dude, you've been kicking ass all day. So fuck yeah. And there's still a few more minutes before we sign off here that we could indulge on. So far we got Chipotle burritos and some chips. So if you want to upgrade us to steak dinners, me and Adam both, super chat. We love them. Dave. So Dave did last super chat. If you're ever in Minneapolis, visit Extreme Noise Records, a punk and metal co-op. I would love to visit Minneapolis. I've got unfinished business because we were supposed to play Crucify Mortals. Was supposed to play Minneapolis Mayhem, I think it was called. And then our drummer broke his arm. And then we had Jim Kanye, the late great Jim Kanye, RIP. He was filling in. We had like two really fucking cool opportunities happening in that summer. Really, it was around this time too. It was July, because it was CBGB's the weekend before, and then like CBGB's closed down then like shortly after. So it was like we're not missing that. Like broken arm or not, like Jim, can you do it? And Jim did, because then somehow we just, I guess the Minneapolis thing, like it just seemed like somebody poo pooed like how we had to almost like drive 13 hours and like we weren't even gonna make our gas money. Which again, that's why it's fucking cool for like communities. So super chats, man. So that like you don't even have to worry about the gas money kind of thing. Like you can make it happen. Like it sucks. It really does suck. Like people, everybody's struggling, but like or not, maybe not, but like who wants to throw cash? So like, but like at the end of the day, it makes things happen. And so like that's what I remember Minneapolis kind of being and why we couldn't play. Like it's 13 hours, they're gonna give us $200. We need a van. And that was when like gas became like $2.20 for the first time. And it was just like we might as well stay home and keep our money anyway. Then like, and it's not about money, but like, dude, I was like 20, at the time. So wasn't able to front the cash. There you are. You stand corrected. Blah blah blah. So let's seal the deal. Oh, the vegan metalhead. Fuck yeah. You know what's up. Cheers from Cambridge, Ohio. Wow. Uh, that alone is pretty awesome because that's the Appalachia, right? Cambridge would be considered Appalachia in a way. That I was kind of alluding to. So again, Adam, there's almost as far as Cambridge is concerned. Hell, you almost wasn't that where your hotel was going to be when you were going to come to Ohio?
Looking at one point that then yeah. So funny you mentioned it.
So there you go, vegan metalhead. Adam was going to come because he lives in Connecticut. He was going to come out to Ohio and do like a stint here next month, right?
Yes.
So and he had unfortunately canceled due to work obligations. But he first was like, I got a hotel in Cambridge. I'm like, dude, I'm in Cuyahoga Falls, like Akron area. Like that's gonna be a real long drive. So cheers to Cambridge though, and thank you for the super chat and thank you for getting us that close to the steak dinner. Otherwise, both me and Adam can add a soft drink to our chips and burrito. What's gonna be your burrito, Adam?
I don't know. Whatever you order, you're going to have to mail me half of it because the video being side by side, I think we're probably 1,000 miles away. So I'll let you know. And
there and back 1,000. Well, let's get Adam a full burrito, all right? That I'll mail. No, I could Zelle the cash, and then you could, don't wait in line at Chipotle. As my brother Chase from Hell's Headbangers, the guy that you're the one that told me this, so I'll break the internet's rumor. Chase does exist. So as Chase says, waiting in lines for peasants. Get the Chipotle app, order it, grab it, and go.
Old school Hellcast fan who is not in the comments. So Robert Green, if you're seeing this after the fact, man, I don't know what happened.
Dude, yeah, he gets to watch it and no fucking super chat. Like, come on, that's unfair. Adam's sitting here down in like really hard rice that arrived to him a week ago, half of a burrito's worth. Like, because Robert could have been here with the super chat, really making it happen. But
Robert Green is the one that joked to Justin that Chase didn't exist, even though obviously clearly knows he does. But that one's on him. So if he sees this later and he makes it to an hour and 26 minutes, which I know he will because he's the super fan. Yeah, that was his joke.
As Dinkins says, yeah, Chase is like the equivalent of Bigfoot at this point. Chase Squatch. There's your next. I'll send you a photo of Chase, and you got to put like Chase Squatch.
I mean, I've met
bumper sticker, T-shirt.
Yeah, he was a catch show, so he does exist. He is real. Eric was there too.
He's in the Midnight DVD, the Satanic Royalty segment. That was very properly edited and put down together. I don't know that guy that's at the end that's credited and not in it, Anyway, fuck Cam. All these questions and no super chat. What the hell? Yes, there are some death metal bands I really like. I mean, I love Nick Anderson's catalog. So of course, Entombed. Clandestine would definitely be one of my favorites of all time. And I'm fucking drawing a blank, quite frankly, but it'd be a pretty decent list, of stuff you'd expect. Because I wanted to turn it over at 88 to going on 90 minutes to Adam. And Dinkins has met Eric. He's real. He's real. He shows up. He's there. He's like selling and stuff.
And Reaper, for you who doesn't know, Eric actually did a video for Justin. He interviewed Von Ghoul. So I think it was over in Indiana. J-Dog didn't make a flaked on him. So your brother Eric actually did the interview.
Look at that, man. He could have been running the Into the Darkness series in its infancy, or in its lack of, now that we're building programs here on Reaper Metal. But, all right. So let's hand it over to Adam, though, and we're going to see it off unless you got some great, intriguing, captivating, a lot of adjectives to describe how much you should be entitled to super chats if you've gotten value out of this almost 90 minutes. You don't have a card hooked up. All right, Cam, you're obligated to go download something on the Reaper Metal YouTube or Bandcamp. You're already on YouTube. Make Hellcast great again. There's your other sticker, Adam. Make Hellcast great again, and then put a sticker, and then and then it'll have Adam. Even though this is not Hellcast, but maybe we'll call it Hellcast 2. Hell, we could call this Hellcast. You're the co-host. Now J-Dog's doing his own thing. Like he wasn't the OG. Hellcast just was me. in the beginning. So I got creative reign, man.
Well, you
Well,
have
there you go.
some people who are fans who, like I said, don't even know who Eddie is, and yet they're a huge Hellcast fan. I got to meet Eddie. He's real too. I can tell
He
you
just
that.
texted me. He's on his way here.
Nice. There you go.
So we got to wrap
Well,
this up.
I guess for my point, just to reiterate for those who weren't here from the beginning and don't already kind of know who I am, basically what I'm doing for Reaper is I'm making a video every week, every Wednesday. It's going to be anything from showing off my collection, like my first videos, my cow decapitation vinyl collection. It could be rants, it could be reviews, it could be just showing off random stuff in my collection. As Reaper put it, maybe it's going to be like a new top four, bronze four, silver four of different regions and different styles of music. Um, Definitely interviews. My second video going up on Wednesday. I'm already working on the thumbnail. I already recorded the video. So it's going to be an interview. So actually, one of the reasons I was planning on going to Ohio was to do a couple of interviews, including with the person you see on the other half of this camera here. Um, so eventually, well, yeah, I don't know. Where we go. So there's a few other people that when I make it out there, I do plan on doing interviews with. And then like maybe like a what's in your bag unboxing without the actual unboxing part, just
Yeah, that's
whole
cool.
CDs showing people what I bought and not going, oh, I forgot my knife. Sorry guys, I can't edit. I got to go walk away from the camera for a few minutes. And oh,
Yeah.
there's Wolfie's at the door. Got to let him in. Or hopefully people will know that reference. And then maybe doing more of this stuff that people know me for. So it's not going to be in frame perfectly, but my little J Dog
Yeah, the
Bingo
bingo seats.
you own. And
Available now at unbaptizedrecords.bandcamp.com. Not.
it's underground that I don't know if you can see it here, but these are hand numbered. So I have number 1 of 50. So I even hand numbered them before I got them laminated. And some of you out there, I know Joe Dinkins, you got it. So they're probably gone by now, actually. So only the cool kids got them. So if you don't have them, I was only ever making 50, and that's it. But if you like that kind of stuff, if you're a fan of this channel, then let me know. We could figure things out. Maybe we could do Patreon. We could do special giveaways with the label, like Reaper mentioned. Unbaptized Records. Once I start getting a distro going, if you want to do like, I don't know, every 6 months, do some sort of blind bag of stuff. It could be swag, stickers, label merch, whatever. At certain threshold, things to talk about in the future. But basically, if you like the things that I'm going to say, of course, you don't know yet because I only did one video, but anyone who kind of knows me, kind of knows Reaper, it's going to be basically a lot of fun. It's going to be low key. It's not going to be, I can't upload a video every day. Sorry, can't do 20-minute videos every day. There's just not enough content for it.
Sure.
But yeah, but to be fair too, that could be another content type going forward. If in the future I see enough regular, serious comments, not troll comments, asking questions, I can compile them, make a video out of it. But for the most part, it's going to be one video every week, every Wednesday, 7 a.m. And then Reaper and I were tossing around some ideas of doing skits, maybe short form, because YouTube loves that short form content.
I
Trying
offered
to
getting Chris Barnes to come back up here, maybe do a few more appearances.
So we'll have consistent weekly update or uploads, but then maybe some, short form stuff interspersed here and there. And then hopefully I'm going to be on Reaper to make sure he does more live streams than once a year because people care about hearing what you have to say. So they definitely,
Yeah, apparently so.
yeah.
Well, fuck yeah, man. Well, I feel like that was an obscure. Remember my cousin Vinny?
Yes, I just saw that one recently, actually.
Did you know that there's an album that Joe Pesci did as Mike Vinny?
No.
Yes. So there's um there's a Christmas song on it then because yeah, and he's like doing it where it's fucking hilarious. He is the character of Vinny singing then on the album with all the different comedic song themes, and there's a Christmas song, and then like yeah, there's like these orphanage well, that's what the joke was. There's the orphanage children singing, and there's a part of when Joe Pesci's singing the choruses, if it doesn't snow on Christmas, how is fat ass gonna land his sleigh? So then when the choir of children kicks in, they start to repeat it, and when they get to how is fat, it's like, well, no, don't let your mothers might be listening. So I was just about to say, let's get a fuck yeah for Adam here, but no, because your mother YouTube is gonna be listening. So there is a really obscure reference. Anybody right now, you're obligated to. It's on YouTube. My Cousin Vinny album. You'll laugh your ass off. It's about as funny as the movie. And I just want to end on this note. Eddie Satan is still a pilot. He is back to work. He was out for a while on sick leave, so that is what he's doing. So congratulations. It was a while. Like he didn't. Yeah, he had shit, man, and that sucked. But he was out for years, and yeah, he's back, and he's a freaking captain. If you could believe it. Can you imagine him fucking being the captain?
Well,
But
he's a cool dude. I mean, I literally met him. You know, he didn't know who I was, and I didn't feel like I was out of place at all. But I want to go down to Wicked Devil right there. Yes, to
yeah,
want to survive, be consistent. That's the idea. Whether it's every day, once a week, once a month. The idea is that everyone knows, like Reaper mentioned in the very beginning, The Simpsons was on. It was Wednesday, 8 o'clock. This channel, reruns this channel, and then you're going to see the new show during the season times during this day, this hour, this channel. Same thing here. I can't do a video for you every day, but I can definitely do once a week. So every Wednesday, check Reaper Metal Productions channel. Every Wednesday, 7 a.m., and then randomly interspersed will hopefully be some fun little short form content. And then, yes, I'm definitely going to get on Reaper for maybe, hopefully, more consistent live stuff. But at the very least, every Wednesday, you're getting a video.
there you go. So let's give it up to Adam. Fuck yeah, man. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see that it's translating well, as I had zero doubts that it would. And yeah, Wicked Devil. You mean the Pink Floyd Archgoat concert? Man,
Yeah,
it was
Pink
a raid.
Floyd, AC/DC. They got AC/DC. They were there too. It was at Blossom, which when I was in Ohio, I passed by a sign for Blossom, and I
Yeah,
left.
it's right here in Cuyahoga Falls, which is hilarious because it's like it's an outdoor music venue, a big amphitheater. So like sometimes if you do a Google search like what's going on near me kind of thing. So like one time I did a Google search, I was like wanted I don't know do something fun with my because they do like some cool like right now there's like an Italian festival going on which it's just kind of like carny crap and Italian food for high dollar going on in the city, but it's nice. It's something you can take your family to, whatnot. So I was like looking for like if there's anything going on here. I'm right next to Akron, is that too? And so like the list came up and was like, what's going on near you? It was like Backstreet Boys, and I'm like like a cover band, like oh, but even the original. And then it's like, oh right, because then it said Blossom. Like, oh well, yeah, Blossom would get that size of band. So it's just funny because yeah, it's literally in the city limits, but it's actually a really cool spot because then it's in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, technically. So it's kind of like a really cool, yeah, just location for a music venue when they're not booking Backstreet Boys. I saw Maiden there and Priest. So yeah, you'll get all your bigs. So
And I
that
also passed by Panini's. I didn't stop in there, but that I did pass by one, so that's also part of the Hellcast lore.
what is it?
Panini's, the restaurant.
Yes, I'm taking you to Panini's next time you're out here.
All right. Well, when we hear some Slayer playing in the background, we'll know who it is.
That wasn't Panini's though.
Oh, well. I think it's the same
Yeah.
concept. But
No,
yeah.
well, Justin misconstrued that one. Yeah. Reaper, you need to eat. Yes, he does. But thank you, Nihilus, for the Colombian souvenir. That's Michael Myers, otherwise a blob in my arm to some folks. So somebody said that they had a badass Michael Myers tat, and I appreciate that. But I appreciate all this, and I appreciate the super chats, so the ones that are going to help us buy lunch. Adam, I'm sorry for the hard rice that is going to arrive to you a week from now, but I hope you like the guacamole. That'll be black at that point. And yeah, I don't know. I think we got a pretty good promise and a synopsis for the future of what we're doing. So I guess next Wednesday, right? Look out for that new video.
Yeah, the interview.
And if you like the idea of me getting on here being more technical, or shit, if you're in you just been putting off guitar forever and you need some lessons, hit me up. Crucifymortals at gmail.com. At this point, I've had many an email. I'm gonna get the Reaper Metal one going back again, so it's easy. This is what this guy's done, man. He's been the inspiration. You got the producer who is the dubbed the bearer of good news. Where now we got Adam, the heavy metal therapist. Cool. I'm gonna see what Eddie Satan's doing here because he keeps texting me. Otherwise, I appreciate everybody being here. And Cam Medical Pathologist. Uh, yes, go to Bandcamp, download some tunes. I recommend the Crucified Mortals catalog if you don't know it. Otherwise, Hellraiser. Adam loves that album, and me too. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for being here, and everybody in the live stream. Thank you for watching this for nearly 100 minutes worth. Adam, thank you for putting time out of your day, and we
Yeah.
look forward to your new video. So, cheers,
Yeah. And thanks to everyone who watches this afterwards too.
killer. Well, cheers, and we'll talk to you next time.